There has been a ton happening in the DELPHI case. We've been covering it as it's been coming out. I feel like there's so much more now. We got this huge document drop, and this is coming with all the Supreme Court stuff, okay? So, this is called the Realtor's Brief in Support of Petition for Writs of Mandamus and Prohibition. This all has to do with a writ of mandamus, basically, and I've heard Bob Motta talk about this a lot because he's been covering this day in and day out, like, you know, covering all the updates. Him and Sleuthy Goosey are on it, like white on rice, requesting documents, you know, trying to get all the information and the facts out there, because from what we've all gathered at this point, what's going on is horrible. It is, I believe, 100% a violation of Richard Allen's rights. It doesn't matter if he's guilty or not. It doesn't matter at this point.
I agree.
This sets precedents. Any case will set the precedent for future cases. And if we allow something like this to happen here, that means we will have to allow it in the future. And this can't be allowed. Period. It's not just the fact that from our past video you saw where she coerced and threatened the lawyers to step down. It's that she is literally deleting documents from the docket.
Yep. And you are not allowed to do that. That timeline is supposed to be sacred.
Yes. And one thing that Bob Motta pointed out that I hadn't even thought of is that she's deleting the record. Not just putting like a gag or a seal on certain things. She's deleting it, meaning if there's an appeal, any appellate issues, that's what they rely on.
I know. That timeline is sacred.
Yes.
AKA records. So it should be the documents in order as they happen. That includes mistakes. That includes mishaps. That includes things that have been said and that's being deleted. And that should never, ever happen. Never. Ever. So why is it happening? And it makes me wonder now, how many other cases have you had that this has happened?
Well, we kind of have an answer. Kind of. We have one other case that I saw posted on Sleuthy Goosey's Twitter where there apparently were some issues. So, anyway, no appellate record. That's a major problem. Also, the fact that she forced these lawyers to step down without a hearing.
Problem.
There's no record now. Yep. There's zero record or facts presented showing this is what these lawyers did to make them grossly negligent.
According
but here's
to
another
her,
thing.
There's an audio.
Yes.
Well, Rozzy also they requested the audio, but that doesn't necessarily mean there was audio. They could be requesting it to prove there wasn't. Maybe I don't know. We don't know yet because there is no answer.
She told them it was recorded, and from what Bob Motta said, that would have to have meant a court recorder came in to record it.
Right.
So that would have had to mean another person there recording this. So he would know.
I'm theorizing there isn't one, though, is what I'm theorizing. Whether there was one and it wasn't being recorded, whether there was never one, and, you know, they're submitting this request to get that recording to prove that there isn't one. You know what I mean? There could be multiple reasons there. Now, I'm not suggesting there is or isn't one. I'm just laying out possibilities I see.
Well, what Bob Motta said is that him and Sleuthy Goosey sent an email requesting to get these recordings because according to the attorneys, the defense attorneys and Hennessy, you can get these. They are part of public record.
You're supposed to.
You are supposed to be able to hear those audios. So they requested it, and guess what? They got an email personally from Judge Gull saying, no, those are private and confidential. So, sorry, I can't let you hear those. I can't give those to you.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I think Bob Motta even might have requested a hearing to go in and listen to them, not receive them. And they were like, nah. And he said him and Sleuthie are continuing to put on the pressure. So hopefully they can get those released to the public.
Yeah, there's
Bob
only so
Motta's
much
really fighting hard, and I appreciate that.
There's only so much they can do. Keep at it, Motta and Sleuthie Goosey. I'm not saying don't do anything. As people, we absolutely should do something, and you guys are killing it. You guys are amazing doing what you're doing. But what I mean is that this fight is going to have to come from people that are in law and connected to this case and state, and Bob Motta isn't part of this case. So I just hope she gets it handed to her from these attorneys, Baldwin and Rozzi.
These attorneys also have the Indiana Defense Bar standing behind them at this point, and that's important.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, supposedly they do.
Which that's incredible. That is a ton of weight.
Yeah, it is. So now, what is the writ of mandamus? Basically, it's an order from a superior court to an inferior court or government official ordering them to properly fulfill their official duties or correct an abuse of discretion. So that's what a writ of mandamus is. I wanted to define it because I didn't know what it was when I first heard about it. Now, within this, what is it, 100... I don't know.
What is it, 100 pages?
I think this one's 22 pages. I don't think I have the 126 pages one people were talking about. But within this document, which is the realtor's brief in support of the petition for the writs of mandamus and prohibition, we see emails, okay, and I know the actual writ of mandamus. I think that actually has all of the emails, but and this has like all the records. Look, so
okay.
So here we go. The other documents that have been improperly excluded from public access, the trial court did not order the clerk to make documents on the CCS public, something that clerks do all the time, which would have allowed the public to see these and identify them. Instead, they created a link and uploaded a zip drive containing 118 documents that were filed sometime between April and June. Every document in the zip drive has the date of 6/27. So they're all the same date, despite being filed on all different days. And the file names have no clear identifying information to let somebody know what the document actually is, and none of the exhibits to a particular filing are anywhere near the actual filings.
Oh my gosh,
and that's the list. It's awful.
They are doing it via zip drive. What's that called? Is that a super link? I think that's called a super link.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, a super link. And this is known on like the dark web and child predator sites, that this is how child predators communicate, is like they will sell super links for all the bad things that shouldn't be out there. And it just directs you to like a computer's hardware saved drive, whatever. So when I heard that, I was just like, that is strange. I've never seen that before in a court case. What?
Yeah, it is strange. It says hundreds of documents are improperly excluded from public access. So I think it's more than 118. That's just what she wanted us to see, I guess, but not give us the proper ability to search or identify them.
So why is the county clerk doing what the judge asks?
I don't know. It's an elected position. You would think she'd be able to tell her no.
She is supposed to be able to.
Yeah.
She is.
I don't know. So, they also talk about the Frank's memorandum being removed, which is a major issue. The trial court attempts to effectuate the removal of Allen's chosen counsel over his objection without his consent or approval. They show the letter that Allen signed, Richard Allen signed.
If they remove I know they removed the Frank's motion. I just made this connection. If they remove that, what evidence is she going to have for removing them? She's she's like taking down evidence to prove that they aren't good lawyer. You know what I mean? You need all that information up there if she's going to have a solid argument as to why she made the decision that they're incompetent.
Well, here's what I find interesting, okay? So in early October 2023, counsel for Allen learned that Mitchell Westerman had surreptitiously and without authorization photographed crime scene evidence in this case that was being stored in Allen's attorney, Andrew Baldwin's office. You hear that? That is the leaker's name. That is Mitchell Westerman. Now, I posted to our Discord the name of one of the leakers, and it was not Mitchell Westerman. Mitchell Westerman is the person who worked in the office and stole the pictures. Now, the other guy, which I'm going to mention here in a minute, is the person who then dispersed them.
Okay.
So here we go.
2 people, yeah.
We're learning more, okay? And I wanted to highlight this, which was posted to Sleuthy Goosey's Twitter, which is a screenshot of an email from Brad Rossi to Francis Gull and Andrew Baldwin, and I'm assuming maybe the prosecution. There's some redacted emails here. So, good afternoon, Judge. Andy and I wanted to touch base with you before the end of the work week. This issue revolves around the possibility that some crime scene photos have been leaked, so to speak, and are in the hands of the public. This is most certainly a photo of the F tree that is floating around the public. The photo itself is not overly disturbing, but the concept that it is in the hands of the public is a concern. This is October 6th. Okay? October 6th. That Rossi is reaching out to everybody, letting them know there's a photo floating around and it's disturbing and we can't figure it out. Of greater concern is the fact that a local content creator by the name of Rick Snay has apparently communicated to the public that he has copies of the crime scene photos. I am attaching a copy of the communication that was forwarded to one of our staff members by an uninvolved third party.
Dude, why did Baldwin even lay over then?
I am attaching a copy of the communication that was forwarded to one of our staff members by an uninvolved third party. We just learned of this, one of their staff members. Do you hear that? Mm-hmm. Not the police. Somebody reached out to one of their staff members, not the police. Okay? We just learned of this in the last hour. I immediately called Nick and informed him of the circumstance. Turns out Nick has known about this for the past 24 to 30 hours or so. So the primary purpose of this email is to communicate our concerns. We most certainly did not leak this information. We wanted to make sure we got out ahead of this and informed the court as well as Nick in the event these pictures found their way on the internet, meaning McLeland, the prosecutor. This might be a circumstance which requires the court's attention. So they're trying to get out ahead of this. They're doing what they should be doing in this situation, okay? Okay, so apparently, according to Murder Sheet Podcast, they reached out to the police officers October 9th. 3 days after Rossi was even bringing this to the attention of the court. So clearly they didn't find out about this because of Murder Sheet.
Yeah.
And Rick Snay was saying he had them prior to any of this, which we know Rick Snay is now saying that he had access to them for 6 months or something like that, or he was getting messaged by this person for 6 months, and there was an earlier spring leak. So, did Murder Sheet have these all this time and not tell anybody? Did they find out that the court was finding out who had them and was in possession of them and then told police officers?
So they're trying to save their butts?
Because you know what's also really weird? This Mitchell Westerman or whatever, they interviewed him prior to any of this. March 10th, which would be spring leak time, they did an interview with Mitch Westerman. Okay? March 10th, 2023. And they just recently, within the past week, released the full interview. Remember, they didn't want to talk about any of this.
Yep.
They didn't want to talk about any of these people involved.
So they hid the interview?
So they hid the interview until it was released in court documents. They only put a snippet when they did. So apparently they did an interview with him when talking about like doing a background on the defense side of things. They did.
Murder Sheet is so shady.
Can I say something else?
Gosh.
Why would they interview him when he left the law firm in 2020 prior DELPHI? Prior DELPHI, them having the Richard Allen case, Baldwin having the Richard Allen case.
Yeah, that's strange.
So they only use a snippet in their episode about the defense, okay, Baldwin and Rossi or whatever, when they're doing this background on them, and then they release this interview with the leaker, the stealer, the thief, okay, after he's mentioned in court documents. How long did they know about all this, guys? Like, I don't want to start beef with them. You know, I previously appreciated them a lot, but once they started putting their foot down as the moral authority in this case and telling us all what we can or should or shouldn't do, it left a bad taste in my mouth, and now I feel like this is not proof, but evidence that could point towards something. Them not telling the whole truth.
Yeah.
So,
no, I agree with you. I think they got some problems, and you guys know how we feel about starting drama and everything. Obviously, we aren't trying to start drama with them, but everything should be talked about, and there are some major questions here
I have questions
around
for
this
them.
topic that, like, come on. And again, and we called this out a couple videos ago because all my background has been in sales and specifically wireless sales. And they're trying to make claims that, oh, we saw proof that it did come from this guy to us. So we know 100% sure it's true because we saw the pictures of text messages. Bro, there isn't anything out there that's more easy to fake than pictures of text messages. Yeah. So easy, dude. You can make any number, any name, and send anything. You could literally send them to yourself.
Also, when you make yourself like almost like the media source for this case, when you are so ingrained in this that you have connections to law enforcement and you're like setting the standard for all other media almost, like,
I wouldn't go that far.
They kind of are. Like,
not every this media.
Dude, no, not this one. But every time Court TV talks about DELPHI, there's Murder Sheet Podcast. Every time any news source talks about freaking DELPHI,
media.
Murder Sheet is on there because they have set, like, the standard for, like, the information about DELPHI. And a lot of people are starting to not trust them anymore. And after seeing this, I don't know how much I trust them either, just being honest.
Yeah. I absolutely do not trust them. But here's the reality of the situation, just for my perspective here, is I don't trust anybody, not because I distrust people, but I firmly believe that we should go through life trust but verify. You know what I mean?
Well,
and the verification here is bringing up some questions.
It's bringing up questions for me personally. Now, if you're they seem like likable people. Like he's a lawyer, she's a journalist, and I have appreciated their coverage of this case for a long time. I just have major questions, like we were saying, and I hope that they come out and like really address them, like for real. Like for real. Like, why is there this discrepancy in the timeline?
There's another person that's close to this case, too, Art of Deduction, who we see in our live streams quite a bit and comes and chats and supports us or whatever. And they're really close to this, and Sleuthy as well. And I was watching one of their lives that they sent, and he was straight up calling out Rick Snay, saying that, a lot of this information was set up, that it can't be believed, that Rick Snay can't be trusted. Now, I have no verifying information on that. All I'm doing is sharing, what I saw here on this. So it's interesting to think, is this another one of those situations where, yes, we had a leak, okay? A leak was real. When it happened, we don't know. The person that ended themselves, that to me, if I'm trying to change things into my favor is an area of opportunity to blame it on this person.
Okay, so...
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you get where I'm coming from?
So I want to get into this real quick. Like I said, there's a ton of information here. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to cover it all, to be honest. But who is he? Okay, who is Mitch Westerman? He, according to Murder Sheet Podcast, okay, in their interview, they said he seemed like a nice, loyal man. He and Baldwin are very close. He was in the military for 20 plus years or something like that. Long-time military service, which is where he developed a close relationship with, as they call him, R. Who is R? The guy who disseminated this information to multiple content creators.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I know. I literally posted it. And I'm going to pull it up, and I'm going to say who he is. Yet. So, it is Robert Kyle Fortson. You know, when I first pulled this up, because I knew Robert's name first before I knew Mitch Westerman's. I was like, military? Was he working for the defense office? Like, that doesn't make any sense. So, born October 30th, 1981, and died October 11th, 2023. He was 41 years old. And he was in the United States Air Force National Guard for the past 23 years. Was deployed 4 times to the Middle East. Yeah, I mean, graduate 2005, the Indiana University. Interesting, okay? I'm not going to read all of this. I have an obituary for him here. It's in our Discord. And there's emails that talk about this, and that's how I found out who he was, because we have an email here, okay, that says, this is apparently from the judge. It is currently 3:53 a.m. and I just got off the phone with ISP from the phone conference that the 4 of us had on Tuesday afternoon, October 10th. Andy Baldwin informed us that Mitch Westerman went to his conference room sometime in August and took pictures of the evidence in this case and then leaked or forwarded those pictures to an individual by the name of Robert Fortson. Okay, so clearly I didn't read this full thing or else I would have known both names. I only read the underlined name, which was Robert. I only read, the part where the fingers are right there. Mm-hmm. That's all I read. Okay, bad on me. So he lives in Fishers, Indiana, and was employed as a civilian Title 32 technician at Fort Wayne U.S. Air Force Base. Robert Fortson met with ISP detective but refused to answer any questions and stated that he wanted an attorney. Soon after that, we had our phone conference between the 4 of us at 10 p.m. last night. Robert Fortson committed unaliving. 1 self-inflicted gunshot wound. He is married and has a teenage daughter. The initial information that I have is that his wife has stated that he was worried sick about being in the situation, and the last info that I have is that Robert stated to his wife that if I had just been honest or come clean about where I got the photos, I will be okay.
Yep.
I'm not sure if this is the appropriate way to notify everyone, but it is 4 a.m., and this is the latest and bizarre twist in this case. This is getting serious and way out of control, gentlemen. If you have additional information about this leak, please forward it on to me or ISP Detective Holman immediately. I do not want to get another phone call like this that Mitch or someone else involved in this leak has hurt themselves or someone else. And this is from Judge Gull.
Yeah, I know. I've read that. It is insane. Insane. Because of that last statement. Did you already close it? That last statement where she says, I don't want to get another call where someone hurts themselves or others.
Yeah.
Okay, so
why would somebody
elaborate? Like, who else? If this is just a one-off situation, this isn't. You don't respond making it seem like, hey, this is becoming repetitive. Are there other situations we don't know about?
Well, the FBI officer that was onto the Odinist stuff that got killed, shot and killed.
was she talking about that in that response? Maybe. I don't know.
Like, are there bodies dropping around this case that we're unaware of? Because I find it odd. I feel like that situation right there almost is like what made her get so invested in getting them off the case. It's really
agree.
weird.
And
so
I posted something on all our social media about black robe disease, but it's a known. Obviously, it's not a real disease, but anybody in the legal system knows about this term, and they also call it like robitis or whatever. And it's when a judge has been in position and their ego becomes more important than their job of protecting the law. And sure seems like Gull has some robitis, some black robe syndrome, black robe disease.
So another
disease.
Yeah, it does. So October 12th at it's basically 7 a.m., 6:59 a.m. This is a short one. She says, "Gentlemen, this is beyond tragic. Once again, I'm at a loss for words. I'm deeply concerned that Mr. Allen's defense is being compromised by all these recent events. I will have my staff schedule a hearing in Fort Wayne for next Thursday, October 19th at 2 p.m. to discuss these recent developments and the upcoming hearing on October 31st. I will have a transport order prepared for Mr. Allen. Please arrange your schedules to appear in Allen's Superior Court. Mr. Rozzi and Mr. Baldwin, please cease work on Mr. Allen's case until we meet on the 19th.
Yeah, and then she tries to... What's interesting here is she tries to make it seem like it's offensive that Baldwin hired an attorney.
Yep.
Bro, if you get that, what should your first thought be? I need to protect myself. Mm-hmm. And you can't represent your... I mean, you can, but it's not beneficial in this situation to represent yourself.
Yep.
Yeah, this is crazy stuff, man. What else you got?
I mean, there's multiple documents. Obviously, I can't read through all of them here. I see a lot of... So I see from Shay Hughes, a public defender who's been commenting on Sleuthy Goosey's stuff, saying that this gross negligence has never been a standard for recusing a lawyer, making them step down, taking them off a case.
Find examples.
It has never been a standard to take someone off.
Yep.
It's always a conflict of interest, some kind of conflict. That is the reason for taking a lawyer off. So this makes zero sense. Her saying they're grossly negligent, not like incapable. You know what I mean? I forget what that word is. Yeah. But it just doesn't make sense, essentially. Mm-hmm.
Something's not adding up.
So basically the writ of mandamus was to get her to, I guess, put these records back out.
Yep.
But now we have a Supreme Court order. They, on October 30th, they set a briefing schedule in this matter requiring that any brief supposing insurance of a writ must be filed directly with the clerk of Supreme Court. So basically, it sounds like the Supreme Court's going to step in. That's what it's looking like.
Great, as long as they do their job and stand up for the people. And I don't think you put enough emphasis on how important it is that the whole defense, what's it called again? The group of lawyers, the defense.
Here, I got it. Hold on. It's right here. Indiana Defense Bar.
Yeah, the Indiana Defense Bar is a huge group of lawyers, and to have them back you in this situation is essentially, half of the legal system coming forward and saying, hey, we're not okay as a representative of the law, that is here to protect the people, that has been voted on and cast into effect by the people of the United States. Don't believe you, Judge Gull, are doing your job, are handling things legally, and we aren't going to stand for it. Mm-hmm. Has there ever been like a legal system shutdown because all the lawyers were like, yo, you guys aren't doing your job, we ain't coming?
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
I don't know, but there's a case here that Sleuthy also posted, which apparently there were some issues regarding Judge Gull.
Oh.
Juventino v. Ramirez, appellant versus State of Indiana appellee. And this involves, it's an appeal from the Allen Superior Court, the Honorable Francis C. Gull, a petition to transfer from the Indiana Court of Appeals. There's some issues cited in here having to do with Francis Gull. I think we're going to have to go over this at a later date because it's just a lot. There's a lot here, you guys, like a ton. Now, one thing I want to mention real quick.
I haven't posted my Judge Gull from last week yet. Maybe we can read that and attach that onto the end of that. That would probably be good.
Yeah. So, basically then Gull, after this writ of mandamus is posted or whatever, she requests an extension because the Office of the Indiana Attorney General has declined to represent her.
What? No.
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. They declined to represent her.
Are you serious?
So basically, the writs. Okay, so October 30th, the court issued an order setting a briefing schedule in which all briefs opposing the issuance of a writ must be filed with the clerk of Supreme Court by November 9th. The Office of the Indiana Attorney General has declined to represent respondent in this matter, causing respondent to need to engage counsel. So she's looking for lawyers. On November 2nd, respondent asks the undersigned counsel to represent her in this matter. Respondent's engagement of the undersigned counsel was finalized November 3rd. So it looks like...
It looks like problems for Gull is what it looks like.
It looks like she got... I think the one who's representing her is Matthew R. Gutween.
Wouldn't that have been hilarious if one of them that represents her is one of them that she assigned to... Richard Allen.
It's not.
I know,
it's
but
not.
That would be...
But
I would lose my stuff,
He's a very experienced lawyer, which, of course, she's going to try to get one of the best of the best.
Of course. And you can't blame her for that, obviously. And, again, look... I want to be clear because we are supporters of our justice system. And to us, it is very important. That's literally the reason why I'm on here talking about the things that I'm talking about is because I believe in it and because it's important. Now, she is a very important part of that justice system. And I don't want to be taken wrong on here, making it seem like we're like anti-judge Gull. But look, she's making some decisions here that are not fair, are not okay, are not within the bounds of the law that have been voted on and put into effect by the people. She is not doing things that are okay. Whether it has something to do with this shady case that we're seeing, whether it has something to do with her black robe disease, robitis, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't matter what it's for. It needs to be corrected. It needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
All of it. From the court record to, I think, Baldwin and Rozzi are coming back, me personally. I think they're not going to stop until they come back.
Yeah. I think, so it looks like they gave her the extension date till November 16th. Instead of the 9th.
Which there's nothing wrong with that. Look, everyone deserves counsel, including a judge, you know?
Yeah, so...
I'm just blown away. They were like, nah.
I'm blown
Sorry,
away.
bro.
I'm kind of blown away by that,
too. You did it to yourself.
But, I mean, yeah, she was warned over and over and over again. Like, what you're doing is illegal. Hello?
Yep.
But, one thing that was on Court TV that I was highly offended by, to be honest, is that they were saying that she can't keep them on because she already said that they were negligent or whatever.
Yeah.
And the thing is they also went on to say things like these attorneys are, looking for, fame and fortune, and this is going to ruin their careers if they're taken off the case, and they, you know what I mean? And I'm just thinking, gross. No, It will ruin their careers. A career they have worked so hard to build. They've never had anything on their record.
Never.
Period.
Ever.
Nothing. Neither one of them, Baldwin or Rozzi, have never done anything to warrant any kind of issues. Nothing.
Yeah. It's not an okay situation. It is not an okay situation.
They have like a squeaky clean record.
The best of the best clean. Not a single complaint.
And
not even an accountability type hearing where they've gotten in trouble. They don't even have a complaint.
No, they don't.
Nothing. And so I agree with you. I think it is gross. It is disgusting. There is a problem here. And for a judge to look at this situation and see what's going on here within her very own justice system, and then take these two guys that are doing their job and they're doing it super good, and be like, sorry, bros, you got to come off or I'm going to hang you out to dry in front of national television when I usually don't allow cameras in here. But I am this time because I want to make sure that you do what I want you to do when I'm threatening you. And I don't want to see your faces anymore. Good luck with your career.
Yeah, like, it's super messed up.
Bro, what?
The one and only time she had cameras in the courtroom. A tactic, clearly. That's what I think. So, not to mention, Sleuthy also has posted on here William Librato's Facebook, and I've also heard that Francis Gull, the judge, was also following Scremin, too. Both of the defense attorneys that she put onto Richard Allen's case, she follows their Facebooks and comments on their family photos regularly.
Bro, if I was Richard Allen, I would be like, you guys aren't coming near me. No. Get away.
No.
Bye-bye.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, it's messed up, man. It is a very messed up situation. And like this whole time we've been talking about the situation from the aspect of the lawyers, not even to mention how messed up this is to Richard Allen, whether he is innocent or guilty. Okay. This is a great example, okay? Because we always talk about Bryan Kohberger and say, we're not here because we believe Bryan Kohberger is innocent or guilty. He doesn't matter in this situation. It's about the justice system and to make sure that an investigation was done respectfully, honestly, and everything. Well, this is the exact reason why it needs to be done honest, respectfully, transparent. Because imagine Richard Allen going through this case and getting convicted, and there is real evidence. It is very, very obvious that he is the one who did this crime, and then all this transpires, and all they're going to do is appeal this decision and could potentially let a murderer out. Now, if he's innocent, you could be convicting an innocent person who could potentially lose their life while in Gen Pop, things like that, because he's convicted of a child-harming crime and he didn't actually do it. And you know what I mean? Like, the stakes here are too high to have this type of madness going on in our courtrooms.
Absolutely. These people deserve justice. This is ridiculous at this point. Like, she's literally ruining a case, setting it up for an appeal.
Yes, she is.
She's literally setting it up for it to fail. It makes zero sense why she's doing this.
The people are coming to protect their own law.
Yeah, they are. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So, I want to read this last line. So it says, yet the trial rules and access to court records rules have been repeatedly violated, leaving the public and the media in the dark. A writ of mandamus or prohibition is appropriate to ensure that going forward the court's mandates regarding public access are followed without exception. So yeah, I mean, I want to see what happens. Now, it's funny you mentioned Kohberger, because remember Nancy Grace was talking crap on Ann Taylor, saying, I don't know how she can look herself in the mirror. This is one thing that Bob Motta has been saying, that I was saying in that video about Nancy Grace, is I find it disgusting and repulsive that she would say something like that. Ann Taylor couldn't have chose that case on her own.
Yeah.
It was given to her. These public defenders are assigned their cases, okay?
Yeah.
They don't just get to go pluck them like that. Now, she's chief
like
or
a
whatever.
private attorney.
So maybe, yeah, like a private attorney.
Yep.
It's much different. They are not paid the way a private attorney is whatsoever. And they're there defending rights. That is their sole mission, is defending rights.
Yeah.
That's it.
You got to be buy-in to that work. And I've seen Ann Taylor's salary that's paid by the state, and I've made more money than that in a year before. It's not like they're making money hand over fist here. It is not.
Okay, about that case, the Juventino Ramirez, Judge Gull, this is what Sleuthie said in the tweet, abused her discretion and displayed prejudice towards the defendant. Her actions resulted in a reversal of the conviction and remand for a new trial.
What sucks in this situation is Richard Allen might not last that long for a reversal. If this even did something like that happen. Look at the condition he's in, for one. And for two, imagine that man hitting Gen Pop.
I know. Would be bad.
Bye-bye.
That would be bad.
Yeah.
That would be very, very bad.
This is insane. I am so happy, though, to see Baldwin and Rozzi not stopping. This is what I was hoping for from the beginning. For just a split second there, when Gull appointed the new attorneys, for a split second, I was feeling, oh, please don't give up. Please don't just we tried And then Baldwin made that statement that to the media, he was like, it's time to do reporting. And as he was walking out,
it's time for journalists to be journalists, like do your job.
Yeah, but yes, he said exactly. That's what he said word for word. But I think what he was meaning, I was worried what he was meaning is like, hey, my rights have been violated. Our rights have been violated. Now it's up to you guys to take the torch. But they were still taking the torch. So I'm glad to see that. That's what I was worried about, is they might back off and just, expect reporters to report.
No, I could tell they fought too hard to get this far to take the back seat and let it go. I think they know that this is fully wrong in their defense attorneys. That is going to be a huge deal for them when they see rights like this being violated, and they know for a fact they can prove it and that they can get backing to get her taken off the case. Yeah. Honestly, at this point, I don't know that she should be a judge anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think she should. If you can be, and if there's a record of this, of her doing this in the past too, with this Ramirez case, I'm sorry, all of her cases need to be looked at, for one.
That's what I'm saying.
And for two,
I don't think she
should not
that.
Be a judge.
I don't think she understands that, and that's why we need to read this, because remember, her past and history that we talked about last week, it looks really good. It looks phenomenal.
Surface level, it looks incredible. Yeah. Even looking at her Twitter account here, which she joined in 2017, she's posting all kinds of things. I read stuff on her about how she had done some really incredible innovations to the jury process in her county. All kinds of things. She was supposedly an innovative judge. Yeah. And now hearing this, okay, maybe innovative to slant it against defendants. Yeah. I don't know how great all her little innovations were. Especially, even if she's doing good things for the court system, if she's biased against the defendants,
you should be stepping down.
You should not be a judge.
Recuse yourself. Yep.
Should not be a judge. And she should absolutely face the full extent of the law if she's found to have done illegal things, which I believe she has. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it for my updates right now. Sorry that was so long.
Yeah. Well, this isn't an update. This is a case.
It's a full-on case. Yeah. There's just so much going on. Yeah. So much. We'll have to get in more later.
Absolutely.